Welcome to the Gentle Art of Leadership podcast. Thanks so much for tuning in to watch today. Please make sure to leave this video a like, a comment. Be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel and share this with anybody that it will bring value to. Harlee, what's up?
What's up? How
Good
are
to
you?
have you here, man.
I love being here. It's good.
Hey, our stories connected back in 2005. We've known each other for almost 20 years.
Yeah.
And we should have been competing against each other.
We should
Talk
have.
about that. How did we meet?
We met because I was a weekend warrior. We were subcontracted from you on the weekends. So we worked for a company during the week, and then on the weekends we come paint houses for you. Because you just had started your business 2005.
I did. Yeah, that was right after I got fired. Started M&E.
Yep.
And you were working for a commercial painting company.
I was. Homolka Brothers. Mm-hmm. Homolka Brothers Painting.
And how did we get connected? You and I. Were you just hanging with Jim? And
Yes.
I met Jim? Okay.
Yeah. And then I met you at the paint store.
Uh-huh.
And then I said, Jim, who the hell is this guy?
Who's this guy?
Yeah.
And what was your first thought? Because you shared this offline.
I didn't like you.
First, hold on.
Yeah,
Before we
hold
talk
on,
about
let's
that,
go.
we got to toast
Yeah.
coffee. Boom. Give it a drink.
Cafe Sevilla? Is that how you say it?
Sevilla.
Sevilla.
You got to work on the Sevilla.
Sevilla.
So you didn't think that 18 years later we'd be on a podcast drinking Spanish coffee. You said you wanted to take me to the parking lot.
Yes,
Tell me about
definitely. That's the state of mind I was in then.
Yes.
I mean, looking back on it now, I think we were cut from the same cloth. Just at the time, not the same material. If that makes any sense.
Yes.
So when you came in and I asked Jim if you've ever painted before. And he said, no. And I said, so why is he running a painting business if he don't know how to paint? And this guy's going to tell me how to do my job? And Jim said, just give it a minute. It'll be okay.
You were riled
I
up.
was wild.
Me too.
I was a wild child, man.
So how'd you get to that point? How'd you get to 2005 and we're standing there? Tell me about that. Because I know your story, but everybody watching and listening needs to hear it.
So in the year 2005, I was drinking a lot. I was still taking opiates. I was fighting an opiate addiction.
Yeah.
Then drinking a ton. Still doing dumb things on the weekends. I think I would drink 6 days out of the week. Take opiates as many days of the week there is. Every day that ended in Y. And I remember before I got into, I got hired on at the Homolka Brothers. Before that, I just got out of jail a few months before that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was at Labor Ready working, right? So I was at Labor Ready working, and then I actually got a job at a company, a little residential company. I can't remember the name of the guy, but he offered me like $13 an hour. And I was like, I'll take it.
That was money back then.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah. I was like, I'll take it. Why not? So I got to work for him for a little bit of time. I think I worked for him for like a month, and he goes, you're worth more money than I can give you. You know what I mean? So I called up Big Jim. I was like, hey, I really need a job. Got a job. And then about a month or two later is when we hooked up with you.
You mean this knucklehead?
Yeah.
This guy doesn't know how to paint.
Yeah. And at the time, I was like, there's no way this guy can run a painting business. He don't even know how to paint, because I didn't know the difference. In my environment, I wasn't taught business. I was taught labor.
Yeah.
So that was it.
So you
I didn't understand the business part of anything. So
yeah.
I was like, this guy ain't going to tell me what to do. That's for damn sure.
And I didn't. I talked to Jim. And
Yeah, you talked to Jim.
reined
Yeah.
you in. He's like, Harlee, you stay back here.
Yeah.
Let him roll up in his little car and do his little business thing.
Right.
Now,
And
you were in here
Yeah.
a month and a half, 2 months ago.
Yes, sir.
You met with the leadership team.
Yeah.
And then I listened to your podcast,
Yes, sir.
Reformed Bad Boys, where you spoke about coming in to speak about your story here with us.
Yeah.
And that was really fun.
That
When
is
you were
awesome.
sharing what was going through your mind in
My
the
mind,
lobby.
yeah.
But your story was so impactful. You blew the team away here.
Right.
So 05, opiates, just got out of prison.
Yeah.
Who's this guy? Painting for this guy.
But yeah.
What you shared with our team that day about your early childhood years, share that. Go back to that.
Oh, go back
And
to that?
if you could, yeah.
No,
'Cause
I can.
I
I
love everybody watching and listening to hear that.
Yeah, definitely. So I grew up in an environment that was drug and alcohol and everywhere. Everywhere you look, drug and alcohol, violence everywhere. Didn't matter. We didn't grow up like to Leave It to Beaver did. My famous line I always say all the time is, Leave It Beaver lied to me. You know what I mean? Watching Leave It to Beaver on the weekend. I said, this ain't true.
Guy's full of it.
This guy is full of it. This has got to be TV. You know what I mean? But again, took my first shot of whiskey when I was 5. You know, and Dad was pumping his chest like a gorilla, thinking that it was cool.
Yeah.
Drink it with Dad, even smoke cigars every once in a while. You name it, we did it, you know?
Yeah. So bonding with Dad.
Oh,
hanging
yeah.
with Dad was smoking cigars, drinking whiskey.
Yep, you feel like a man,
Yeah.
you know? So you learn those habits, and then you think it's normal. You think that's the way you're supposed to grow up. So every weekend was party weekend. Dad worked during the week. We partied on the weekends. So the biker crew came around, biker clubs, biker gangs, whatever. There's a difference. If you don't know, look it up. There's biker gangs, there's biker clubs. You know what I mean? We were exposed to both of them. So that culture was already, I was already in that environment, in that culture. So that's what I felt comfortable in. You know what I mean? I still did get good in school though. So I was still a straight A student.
Tell me about that, right? Because
Yeah.
that's an interesting. You see a lot of people that grow up in that environment.
Right.
Like home life's bad, everything's bad,
Yeah.
grades are bad.
Yeah.
But you were crushing it.
I was crushing it. I was a straight A student. Because if I wasn't a straight A student, my dad would crush me.
How so?
My dad always put hands on me. I got 5 sisters, and I'm the only boy. So if Dad got mad about something, then Dad and I would have discussions about it, if you will.
Okay.
And the majority of the time, it ended well for my dad and not for me. So my dad would feel better about himself, whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? So we grew up in that environment. Got my ass kicked quite a bit for whatever reason. Who knows? He got me mad about something, then he would, Never had nothing nice to say. Never had anything nice to say to me or about me, period. But I don't know. In school, it was my getaway. You know what I mean? I was nervous. I was scared. I didn't want to get my ass kicked when I got home. And then I like to do school because in school they taught me I wanted to play football. You know, so they were like, if you get good grades and you do this, you can play football. And football was freedom for me. I was free.
Yeah.
I didn't have to worry about mom, dad, sisters, nothing. That was my freedom then. I felt free on the field, kicking ass and taking names. So
Now this was what, middle school?
that was middle school,
High school.
elementary school, yep. And then about 10 years old, Dad got in a motorcycle accident. It changed everything for us, you know. Almost cut his head off. Mom was pregnant with my youngest sister, Raina. And then we ended up moving out to Fort Collins, which was a culture shock. Because if you can think about it, we grew up in Wellington. It's mostly Caucasian people, biker gangs, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I grew up on a farm. Worked on a farm, baled hay on a farm, learned work ethic there because I was escaping home, right? So I had a best friend, spent most of my time at his house because when I was there, nobody was putting hands on me, so I could be there. And then I could take out my angers and aggressions when I was baling hay. It was fun, just work. So then we ended up moving to Fort Collins. Well, when we moved into Fort Collins, we moved into a Hispanic neighborhood, mainly Hispanic.
Came to the big city.
Came to the big city, Fort
Moved to the
Collins.
Hispanic neighborhood.
Yeah.
All right.
So we grew up on north side of town. You know what I mean? Yeah. But when we lived on the north side of town, there was a little there used to be one main gang on the north side of town. It was called the Mexicans with Heart. So I got exposed to gang life pretty early. I'd go try to play football in the park with them. Boy, they would always pick on me. They would always bully me. They would always put hands on me. But I'm always like, well, Dad conditioned me for this part of my life. That's how my brain worked. Is if I didn't have that, then I wouldn't be able to withstand this. So I was getting my ass kicked quite a bit. Because these kids didn't wrestle. They didn't smack you around. They punch you. Because they were in a boxing club from when they were babies, the 4 or 5 years old. So I go up and I'm like, oh, I'm going to push the kid, you know? And I push the kid and then all of a sudden I get beat up. Yeah.
I'm going to come through this bale of hay.
Yeah. But I'm telling you, so I was, pretty strong or whatever, but not strong enough to understand what was going on. So I got beat up a little bit, and then I just learned how to fight back, you know? Just came up with the strength to fight back. And then I ended up joining that situation so I could survive.
Yeah.
So I was out of the house by the time I was 13. Mom got up with some dude we didn't agree with. He was a Navy SEAL. He was not a Navy SEAL, excuse me. He was in the Navy. Okay. and never had really anything good to say. Really, you know what I mean? So we were always had altercations, always.
Yeah.
Yep. So I ended up leaving the house and went full on gang affiliated.
At what age? So do you remember the moment?
Oh,
I don't know a lot about the gangs, right? But did you get jumped in?
I got initiated into the gang. Yeah, I got initiated into the gang because the story goes like this. We moved into the neighborhood with Mexicans with heart. But I'm not Mexican, so I can't be part of your gang, you know?
Yep.
And they always viewed me as the white boy. So it was like that. It was that way for a little while. But then some of the older homies ended up getting locked up to prison. And in prison, there's no such thing as Mexicans with heart in prison, you know? So there's Sureños and there's Norteños and there's, you know, like the Mexican mafia. And there's other little cliques of gangs after that. So when they got locked up, the two dudes ended up joining two different gangs. One ended up joining the Sureños and one ended up joining the Northsiders. So when they got out, it was Northside and Sureños, and everything started becoming split.
So everybody that was on the same team
before
they went in, they came out and
now out on a different
teams.
Yep.
So then how does that? So you're 13.
Yep, 13 years old.
Catching ass whoopings since 5, drinking whiskey. And that turned into other things. So whiskey and
I started taking opiates when I was 11.
So whiskey at 5.
Yep.
Popping pills at 11.
Yep. Started smoking weed when I was 11.
Okay. Big white cornbread farmer moves into the Hispanic neighborhood.
Yeah.
You don't fit in.
Nope.
Everybody's kicking your ass.
Everybody's kicking my ass because I had cowboy boots, Wranglers, and flannels when I moved into that place.
But
you know what I mean?
That's your normal, though.
That was my norm. Yeah, that's what I knew. I didn't know nothing else. So I had to learn how to survive in that environment because I'll be damned. You know, I'm not going to get eaten and I'm not going to get beaten for very long. I'll learn my lesson real quick. So I ended up joining the culture, if you will. And good thing I did, you know, because that culture, no matter if they kicked my ass or not, they took care of me. They took me in.
In a weird way, they love you. You know that you're accepted.
Oh, yeah.
You're secure, that you're safe.
Yeah, because I almost you almost prove yourself to them. And then once you prove your loyalty, that's it. That's all they want. Loyalty and integrity. And then I used it to protect myself because I didn't have that family anymore, you know?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
So we're about 15 minutes in.
Okay.
And you haven't dropped any profanity yet. And the Harlee that I know, so hold on a minute, because we can bleep this out. So give me a second here. We were just in your basement.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
When did you start? When did you drop your first F-bomb? Because 2 weekends ago we dropped a bunch of them together in the basement.
We did.
You haven't dropped one here, so I'm like, who is this guy?
This motherfucker.
Yeah, so like that, but that's your environment, right? Like
yeah,
that's your environment.
Yeah.
So you're learning all these things.
Yeah. Just anybody listening and reviewing, don't take it cursing the wrong way. Don't
parental advisory.
Yeah, please.
We're gonna beat this out.
I was gonna wear a parental advisory sticker on my chest and say, don't worry about it. I got this shit.
Nope. Love it. So,
okay, cool.
So all these things that somebody might look in from the outside and go, that's wild, that's crazy, that's whiskey and opiates and cursing and fighting and punching and all these things, that's your normal.
That's my norm, yeah. And so we were at a party one night, and this is how I got initiated into the gang because I always hung out with them. There was a bunch of them in the room, and one of the homies got out of prison, and he kind of looked at me and was like, are you with us or are you against us, right? So we're drinking, we're doing whatever. And I said, well, I'm always with you. What do you mean? How am I going to be against you? I'm here, aren't I? And he goes, no, let me rephrase that for you real quick. He goes, are you with us or are you fucking against us?
Yeah.
And I said, well, I'm with you. What the fuck? Yeah. And then he lifted up his shirt. And he goes, okay. Mm-hmm. He goes, are you with us or are you against us? Like, you want to be put in or not? Because if you initiate me, he put in a word to initiate me, but I'm the white guy.
Yeah.
And everybody knows it. So I can't make this dude look foolish. So I didn't have a choice.
And then you're in.
Then I'm in. Then they took me outside. He pistol whipped me on the couch. Fucked me up on the couch right there. They took me outside, dumped me over the little patio, and we were in what do you call it, a trailer.
Okay.
So you know when you come out the front door, there's a little patio. Dude pistol whipped me, fucked me up.
You walk out of a trailer.
I didn't walk out. No, they took me out.
They took you out.
They took me out. I was sitting on the couch.
Little deck.
Yeah.
Pistol whip you.
No, he pistol whipped me inside.
Inside.
Because I stood up. I went to be like, yeah. And then he was like, fucking whacked me.
So now you're in.
So now I'm in. That was it. They took me outside, threw me over the thing, whooped my ass. And they kicked my ass for about 3 minutes.
What did that feel like? How was that? What do you remember about that?
I remember that felt normal.
Okay.
Because the dad put an ass whooping on me. And I was thinking to myself, these dudes hit like bitches. That's what I thought, because my dad hit me hard. My dad was a bodybuilder.
Oh, he was?
Yeah.
Okay.
He was a bodybuilder before he got in his accident, so when he put hands on you, he put hands on you.
Strong hands.
Strong hands.
Okay.
Can't get away. And he used to spank us with a 2x4 named Rose, with a little bit of, it had a little handle on the end. Okay. And the name of it was Rose. So he either spanked you with it or he'd whack you. Boom. I remember being like 5, 6. I was probably like 6 years old. I remember I was crying because I wanted a peanut butter jelly sandwich. I was hungry. And Dad got mad because I cried and knocked me out. Fucking whacked me. Woke up in the fucking hallway and I was like, oh shit. Okay. What do you do?
Man.
Get up, dust yourself off, and go again.
So question.
Yes, sir.
We're here today.
Yeah.
2023.
God, it makes me breathe hard. I get off.
40. You're 40.
42 now.
42.
Yeah.
How do you go from whiskey at 5,
Whew.
getting knocked out at 6, asking
Yeah.
for peanut butter and jelly, opiates at 11, pistol whipped at 13.
Yeah.
All this.
Right?
To sitting here, you have 2 successful businesses.
Yes, sir.
You got a podcast.
Yes, sir.
We're sitting here doing our thing. And I know where you're going. You know where I'm going. We
Yes,
know
sir.
where we're going together.
Yeah.
How did you get there?
Resilience. Never fucking give up. You know, I've met the bottom a lot of times, and I've thought about suicide a lot of times, but it was never the answer, because I always felt I've had a lot of near-death experiences, a lot. But I'd say probably 4 or 5 of them should have ended my life. I shouldn't be here. So when I was still here with those each and every one of those experiences, I was a growth in my life, because I was like, fuck, I was supposed to die, I didn't die. So now what am I here for? You know, it's not to drink, it's not to take opiates, it's not to be, I gotta be here for something, you know, and I already had children at this time, but I didn't view parenthood like I do now, you know, because my parents weren't parents. You have to be present to be a parent, right? You can't just be in the same room with the kids and be a parent. You know, my dad wasn't present as a parent. Neither was my mom. So my parenting experience, I thought I was killing it. You know, because I went to work. You know, that's what I knew. That's it. I knew how to go to work. I didn't know. You know, I would tell the kids, do as I say, not as I do. I'll be drinking and partying in front of them, doing dumb shit in front of them. But I was at the same time, I'd be like, don't be doing this. This ain't good for you. But I didn't know then that kids learn from their environment, not what you tell them to do. So
you learn all this from your parents.
Yeah.
Then it's passing on to your kids. You're working like crazy.
Yeah, I had a full-time job all the time. I was broke as a joke all the time. I remember in 2005 when our paths crossed, there was my sister, her boyfriend, me, and my girlfriend at the time lived in a studio apartment. There was 4 of us. We all had full-time jobs. We could barely make $425 a month for the rent, because the courts were taking my money, child support was taking my money, restitution was taking my money. Everybody was taking my fucking money. So I always had a full-time job. But because a lot of people are like, how did you afford to do all this? I always worked, because I remember working as a child, and I remember that freedom, that feeling of freedom of work, and then you get paid and everything. So I was like, I'm going to keep doing that. But then everybody kept taking my money. My fault, right? My choice. I chose that life. I didn't have to. But
when did your mindset change from everybody's taking my money to, well, it's my fault, I got to go make it right?
When I was about 2005, 2006.
Okay.
Yeah, that was it. It took me a little while, because I was still stuck in the same mindset of poor me. I was in the poor me mindset, you know?
Yeah.
Like, look what my life gave me. This is, you know, I didn't ask for this shit. Blah, blah, blah. I was still mad at my mom. Still mad at dad. Still mad at my situation, you know?
So you're mad.
I was always mad.
Victim.
Oh, yeah.
Poor me.
Yep.
Poor Harlee.
Yep, poor me.
When did that?
I was acting like a little bitch.
Being a little bitch.
Fucking telling
Being
you.
a little bitch.
I'm fucking, man, it's sad to say right now. I think back and look at it now. I'm like, man, I'm glad I got out of it, you know? I really had the victim mindset of like, Mm-hmm.
What's the turning point? Was there this big moment, big wake up call? Or was
Yeah,
it
I
small
overdosed on
moments?
opiates.
Okay.
Yeah. So I overdosed. And the long and short of the story is like, people say life flashes before your eyes, but it doesn't. For me, it didn't. It was the most comfortable feeling in the world, and I embraced it. And I almost embraced it a little too much, and I wouldn't have been here, you know? And so the only thing that saved me was my daughter, Journey, used to wake me up in the morning because I'd be too fucking drunk. So my alarm would be going off for a half an hour to get up to go to work, and she'd come in and tap my face and be like, Daddy, you got to get up. You got to go to work. It's time to go to work. And I'd be like, you know, all right. So when I was like ODing, then this happened in my mind. It didn't happen in real life. You know what I mean? So that was the one thing that saved me. And I was like, motherfucker.
She's slapping you away.
Yeah, like I felt a big old, like I felt a big old on the side of my face. Like, motherfucker, you better get up. You about to die. And I got up and I couldn't move. I had sleep paralysis. You know what sleep paralysis is? So I was awake, but I can't talk. You can't move.
Was that from the pills?
Yeah, your whole body's asleep. You're messed up. And I remember the feeling that you feel before it happens is euphoric. It's the best feeling in the world. Because I understand it's your brain releasing the chemical to make you feel super relaxed and accept what is going on. And as my body went away, my body disappeared, and you almost feel like you start to float. Yep.
Did you come out of your body?
No, I did not.
No. Okay.
I think the slap kept me in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she slapped you
My
back to
daughter
life.
bitch slapped me like, get the fuck up, Dad. What's wrong with you? So then I went through right then and there. I didn't go to AA to get rid of my opiate addiction. I did it on my own. So I took pills for 13, 14 years, like 14 years. And then I just stopped.
So you started at 11.
Yes, sir.
And then all the way through?
Yeah, pretty
24,
consistently.
25,
yeah.
and then you get slapped awake.
Slapped awake.
Slapped out of death.
Slapped out of death, pretty much.
Glad
yeah.
you're here, man. Glad you're still here.
Appreciate
Glad she
it.
slapped you.
Me too. You know, and I got out of the sleep paralysis, jumped in the cold ass shower, and was sitting there like, you could have died, bro. Like, do you really want to fucking die? I mean, like, is this for real? Is it worth it for you to go through all this and then you want to die? You know what I mean? And then you have to sit there with yourself because you got nothing. And I've had nothing before, but at that moment it was like nothing. Yeah.
Did you have, looking back, because, right, hindsight's always
right.
We know what we know now.
Yeah.
Before she slapped you, were there these other wake-up calls or other moments that became more clear? Or were you just...
Oh, no, it all
just
became
all
clear
in?
then.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I had an accident in 2004. Should have died, a rollover accident. Didn't have a seatbelt on. Ripped off the side of the car. I got out of the car to see what was wrong with the car. I shouldn't have. Shouldn't have got out of the car. Airbags came out, bap, 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 kept me in the car. All the glass came out the windows, fucked up my face. So I got all these scars on the side of my face.
Yeah. That's why you're ugly.
Yep. That's why I have a radio face. Like all these cameras around here.
We just learned what that meant. I thought that was a good thing. They've told us we have a face for radio.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a compliment.
No, it's not. It is not. It's not. So we've been through those things, got through those things, and now I have a face for radio. Yeah.
Okay.
But that was it. I mean, really right then, I was like, man, you got to get your shit together. So 2005, I probably wasn't the best person to be around. I was a pretty grouchy motherfucker because I was still drinking quite a bit, but wasn't eating opiates.
How did you and I, never just kill each other in a parking lot?
Well, because you told me you did jujitsu, and I said, well, I like to box. I go, well, what the hell? You gonna grab me and choke me with my shirt, or what did I say? Something. I go, how's that even fair? I don't even know how to wrestle.
We must have met then because I started jiu-jitsu in 2007.
Oh, did you?
And prior to that, so 03 to 07, I was doing the Krav Maga.
Yeah, there you go. That's what it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But still, man, like my story, your story, we're both pissed off. And
yeah. I was so mad.
We've gone through. We're both like angry dudes.
Yeah.
And
I don't know. we just saw something in each other. We were just like, whatever,
Right.
that fucking dude.
We knew we'd be here one day. We knew we'd be here having coffee. And you were like, you're 6 coffees deep. How many of those did you drink?
Just this is 1.5.
Should we call Haley back up?
Yeah.
Like, Haley, bring me another
think
coffee.
you need
She's
another.
running them up. I'm good. I'm good.
So that was my 2005. Yeah.
So that's a turning point for you.
Yeah,
Meaning
definitely.
You're turning around, and then
Yeah.
man, to talk about where you're at today, and more importantly, with all the near death,
Yeah. Yeah.
slapping you out of death,
Yeah.
waking you back up.
My youngest baby, or not my daughter Journey did that.
So why do you think God has you here on this earth?
Man, so I could share my story and tell motherfuckers to be resilient. You know what I mean? And get their heads out of their asses and do what they want with their life. This is a short stay, man. We're here for a little bit of time, and if you want to make an impression on somebody, then do it. You know, I used to think life was about making all kinds of money and being rich and all kinds of shit, and I was ignorant. That's an ignorant mindset, and now I look to be wealthy. You know, I want to grow wealth, and I want to take people with me, and I want to teach them they can do it. Because looking at people, and even my parents, I look at them like, man, I feel sorry for them almost, you know? Yeah. I really do. I won't speak too much on them, but I almost feel sorry for them. Because everybody has so much fucking potential in the world, and they don't ever use it. You know what I mean? And if my story can help somebody understand their potential, then fuck, I'm all for it. Like, get the fuck up and get moving, you know, because I almost died X amount of times, but I know it's up to me.
Hey, just wanted to give a big shout out and thank you to one of our sponsors, Lit Lighting Solutions. Lit Lighting Solutions provides permanent decorative lighting for residential homes and commercial buildings in northern Colorado and up and down the Front Range. Quick note, these guys have done work on our family's personal home, and it is so cool to come home to permanent lighting that you can change day by day, season by season. To check them out, go to jellylighting.com.
You know, to make those steps. It's not, I depended on others quite a bit. You know, I bought all the get rich quick schemes. I bought into them, but then I was like, fuck, you still have to put in the work.
Got to put it in.
You have
Gotta
to.
do it.
So you got to put in the work. But a lot of people are scared of the work because they want it right now. You know? Yeah. Instant gratification. Yeah. They want that. I wanted the instant gratification. I wanted it. I used to sell drugs and was like, I'm going to give you this. You gave me that. Thank you. Done. It's over.
Do you think that's been a cultural thing? Do you think that's gotten better, gotten worse? Because I'm on the jiu-jitsu mats, right? I have a parent who wants a student to learn how to defend themselves in 3 classes, or somebody that wants to make all this kind of money and run this business, but I think you got to work.
I think now it's worse.
Yeah,
it's worse now because we got social media. If you want something, it's right there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you get instant gratification if you want. Post a picture, see what happens. You know.
So what do you teach your kids? Like, what do you tell your kids? Because that's there, right? Like we know that's there. I think a lot of people know that's there. There's this painted picture of perfection,
there is painted picture of perfection.
Whenever you want it, microwave culture.
Yeah.
But what do you at the end of the day when your kids come and they tell you that, yeah, Dad, I want this, and they don't realize what they need to do to have that?
I tell them like this: do you want it or do you need it? First of all, and then they say, well, I want it. I say, okay, then you got to work for it. And then they say, well, what does that look like? And I go, well, how much is it? And then they say how much it is. And I go, okay, now you got to put in this much work if you want to get it. And that's only for that moment in time. You understand? So if you're only willing to work hard for that moment in time, that's all you're going to get. And you can't ask for anything else because you ain't willing to put in any more work than that. So you got to understand if your worth is only that, then that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. But if you want to put in more work, then guess what? You get 100,000 of those if you want one day. So you better just be patient. But if you're willing to only put in work to get one, that's all you're going to get. So I tell them, you got to work hard. They see me work hard. They know I got a couple businesses. They know that it takes hard work, dedication, because they understand. They understand that 5-year rule. That's what I tell them. You got to give it 5 years at least. 5 years to them, that's an eternity, you know?
It's forever.
I got a daughter named Eternity, but for her, that's forever. That's so forever. And I'm like, look, baby, that's legit. If you get in there, you get your hands dirty for 5 years, see where you're at, assess the situation then, and then go from there. I said, everybody looks at your success and says, man, Matt's so successful. It just happened overnight. He's so lucky. Mm-hmm. You know what? Hard work favors. You are lucky when you fucking work hard. You know? You work super hard. You're going to get lucky.
Yeah, nothing happens overnight.
No,
yeah,
fucking
any
no.
overnight success took 10 to 20 years. I remember hearing that.
Yeah.
So we think about our pirate patch, the little drywall repair tool.
Yep.
We were putting in money, putting in work.
Yeah.
Everybody here telling us no. You can never do that. You can't do this. No one's going to make that.
Yeah.
Like, all right. And we were just, I don't know if we were too stubborn or didn't really know, but we just went after it.
Yeah.
And then right during COVID is when we pulled our first distribution check. Like there was an idea on a napkin in 2010. We're eating burritos. Everybody's telling us no. We land 2 big national accounts.
Oof.
Right? We have this thing in Sherwin-Williams and Ace Hardware.
I've seen it.
Yeah. Not getting paid well or on time.
No.
And we said, you know what? We're going to pull this out of these 2 big stores, go on Amazon. And everybody's like, you're crazy.
Yeah, we are.
Sure. So let's keep going. And then boom, sitting on the back deck, February, March, COVID hits, April, stroking a check.
Yeah,
I remember
done.
we put a video somewhere.
Yeah, that's good.
Some short-sighted business coach said, yeah, well, you waited too long. You shouldn't put in on that for so long.
People don't know. You got to put in.
Yeah.
You got to put in it for so long. Look at my journey. I'm on a self-improvement journey. I barely started. I was 31. I'm only 42.
Yeah.
So I'm still a baby in this, I'm going to give it another 8 years and look back at it and see where I'm at then, because I'm still a baby. I'm still growing. All I know is where I came from, and I know where the fuck I'm going. So
So where are you going? Because I want to talk. We can talk about the painting business, but
right.
I still don't know how to paint.
No,
I
you
still don't like to paint.
Good. I love it though.
I don't know who would whoop whose ass though if we got into it. If we went to the ground,
I think we would have to kill each other. Well, if you went to the ground, you whoop my ass.
You'd bite my ear.
No,
or
I wouldn't
something.
bite you. I'd
You
do
wouldn't bite me?
something. I
You
would
do
figure it
something?
out.
You do
I would
something?
figure it out. Yeah.
Well,
But if we were on the ground, I'd get choked the fuck out. I'm done. Look, listen.
But no, we're on this journey, man. We've been on this journey. We've been on this like parallel journey.
Yeah, for sure.
Coming from a lot of the same experiences.
Yeah.
We're here on this podcast. You were here speaking.
Yeah.
I've heard you speak twice. This is like the 4th time I've heard your story. Being here, being the 4th time. Where do you want to take this story? Like who are you getting called to serve with this story? Who resonates the most with Harlee and your experiences of resilience and everything you've gone through?
I think like we do that podcast, Reform Bad Boys. That environment, that we come from, that cultural environment. I mean, and honestly, for everybody, because look at your book, the Painted Baby book. You know what I mean? You wrote this book to a business book. Am I correct? Like more geared towards like I told this terrible story of business, right? And then got this big account because you were truthful with your not shiny brochure Matt self. Yeah, but it helps more people than you think.
It's wild, man.
Yeah.
Like it's super wild right now. I started this book in 2015, and the subtitle was initially "Turn Your Business Nightmares into Explosive Sales, Explosive Growth." It was this, like business nightmare.
That's
bad
a Matt
story,
thing.
right?
Hell yeah.
But yes, it's marketing, and I go, it's a business book. It's a business book. I'm a business guy.
Yeah.
And I put the book down for 7 years, and I recommitted to all last year, 2022.
Okay.
Start working on Painted Baby. And I'm just being guided by mentors and people that are pouring into me.
Okay.
And I'm still writing that as a business book.
Yeah.
That subtitle, Connect with Clients to Sell Business.
Yeah.
In business.
Right.
To write this book.
Mm-hmm.
And what God's working behind the scenes,
I'm telling you.
I don't see till about a month ago.
Mm-hmm.
So when we write this book, I'm working with the publisher. They do a North Star call. So they say, imagine you're sitting at the bar,
Okay.
and you're eavesdropping on somebody that just read your book. Who is that person? What was their problem? What are they saying? Knowing that you're not there.
I got you.
And I shared, well, yeah, it's making their business better. And it's making their life better too, right? Because life is business and business is life and all of these things. So we do the North Star call. We get real clear on who we're writing to. And it's business people. But there's a lot of men that are attracted to what my story, message. So I'm writing the book, doing the book. comes out. We have an amazing launch in January, and we're just out one night. I don't even remember what we were doing. And there's a gal and her spouse sitting there, just hanging out.
Yeah.
And they walk up, oh my gosh, I read your book and it was amazing. And this made business so much better, all of these things. So it's hitting and checking on all those boxes.
Right.
These two people are struggling with some stuff right now. And one of them pulls me aside and says, hey, how this really helped me went far beyond business.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
Yeah. And it's wild. So I'm still processing through that. But it's been really cool. Like what you think the plan is, where you think you're going.
Right.
There's somebody else and there's something else
guiding
it. And then we're sitting here on this podcast and I'm getting ready to write the next book.
Right.
And getting more clear on that. So sometimes what you think it is isn't necessarily always what it is.
Yeah. And I always think it's that culture that I should be speaking to, but I want to speak to everybody, you know, and I want everybody to take, like they do from your book, and take a lesson from it somewhere, somehow, some way. Because, there's a lot of people, there's certain situations I've been through, even had diagnosed with panic attacks.
Yeah.
For 2 years of my life. Panic attacks, depression, almost borderline bipolarism, if you will. And I refused to take that. I refused to be that person, I guess, if you will. You know what I mean? Because I did that with my choices. I did that to my brain. Then I said, how do I fix it? And they didn't have an answer for me.
The doctors didn't?
No. They said they wanted to give me medication because I had a depressed brain. Because I had 2 TIAs, so that's going to help somebody along the way. I had 2 TIAs and I came back from 2 TIAs and still ran my business.
What's a TIA?
A TIA is a minor stroke. So I had 2 of them back to back, one right after the other.
I saw you at the sandwich shop. We ran into each other.
Yeah.
The subway. Hey, how you doing?
Like, I was like, I'm pretty good. Driving. Yeah, I did.
That's when we really reconnected, right?
You were like, what? And I go, yeah, because you asked me if I spoke anymore. And I said, no, I put that on hold for a second because, I didn't want to have a panic attack because I was having panic attacks every day, all day. They were lasting that long. So something was malfunctioning in my fucking brain and my body. And I was not sleeping well still, I was still drinking a little bit, but not a lot. I think I drank pretty heavy till I was about 31, Now I drink every once in a while, but it was still, I almost put my body to extinction is basically what they said, Yeah. So I had to go get those brain scans and things. They were like, well, they just diagnosed me with acute panic attacks and panic disorder and said I was depressed, blah, 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 blah. And I said, cool, how do we fix it? Because that's me, I'm going to fix it. I'm going to fix it all. I don't care what it is. If I broke it, I can fix it. That's my story. That's what people need to hear. And so I fixed it. A year and a half later, I don't take medication. I haven't had a panic attack. Last year was my first one and only one in a year. Lasted about 5 minutes. That was it. So I didn't take medication. I didn't listen to the doctor tell me I was depressed and couldn't do all these things. And I think that's a lot of people, I want to share that mindset. They need to fucking get it. Like it starts in the mind and then you make it a reality. Now it doesn't happen like you said. You can't snap your fucking fingers and be better. You have to visualize you being better. And then when you get there, you're there. So from a couple months into after I had a TIA and my panic attacks, then I started to visualize what it would be like to not have them. And I would go through them all day, every day. And when I take medication, I go for walks and all kinds of shit. And then finally I'm here. So I visualized that. That was a 2-year road. That was 2 years I did that to make it go away. So you got to be patient, man. People got to be patient. They have to. I remember looking at my wife one day. I told her this story. I looked at her and told her, I know why people kill themselves.
You walked out.
And I walked out, yeah. And that's terrible for my wife. I feel terrible for that. But I was in that mindset because my body wouldn't shut up. My mind wouldn't shut up. I wasn't sleeping. I'd sleep like maybe an hour a night. I'd even go in and be like, tell my kids bye, because I thought I was going to die of a panic or die of a heart attack or I was going to have another stroke or I wasn't going to be here. It was it. Because my body, the adrenaline in my body was hitting all the time. Boom, boom, boom. It's like if you almost get in a car accident, this is the best way to explain it. And then you feel like, I almost got in a car accident. That was my shit all day. All day. Every couple minutes, it'd just be like, boom, and hit you real hard. And then it was hard to function with people, but I still kept everything normal. I still did my normal everyday business. I still did my normal everyday things, minus going to talk, minus going to do things, because that I did. I feared that somebody would catch on and be like, "This guy's fucked up."
Yeah,
yeah, because it was not. My mind wasn't right.
So it's just going.
It's just going, yeah, all the time.
And you're still performing. So one of the things that I'm seeing in your story, I know this about your story, but with that resilience is you're always going to find a way.
Oh yeah,
you're always going to make it work.
You have to.
And a lot of people aren't going to see what's really going on with Harlee behind the scenes, right?
Nobody knew.
You've got that facade. You're not going to show it. Whether they don't show it, they don't see it. You're pulling it back.
Yep.
And then it finally just all
came out.
Now that moment, because this is one of the parts of the story that I remember when you spoke with the team. It was the team. Remember the team? We walked around the table.
Spoke to the team. Yeah.
What was impactful? Yeah. What was great? And everybody's whiskey at 5. Whiskey at 5.
Yeah.
And then when you said to your spouse, I want to come back to that, your wife.
Yeah.
Hey, I know what it feels like. I know what people feel like when they want to kill themselves. Yeah. And then you walk out.
Yeah. And I was gone for 8 hours.
What happened in that 8 hours for you? And
I fucking walked. I had a fight with the new me and the old me. This is literally how it was going. I was either going to fucking end my life or I wasn't. So the new me's fighting with the old me. You know, you can call it, they want to call it personality disorder, but that's bullshit. I got an old life and I got a new one. Mm-hmm. And there's an old me inside that built the new one. So they're going to fight sometimes, you know. Mm-hmm. They want to call it the old wolf and the new, or the good wolf, or whatever you want to call them. Satan and Jesus, if you will, whatever you want to label them, right? So me, I was clashing with this person, you know, because this one person, the old me, wanted to just fucking be done with it.
And what's he saying? Like, what are the statements
going
through your mind?
It's over. It's done. You're done. It's over. Your life is over. You're fucked up. You fucked yourself up. You fucked yourself off this long. You know what I mean? Look at all these bad choices you made. You did all these drugs. Your body's fucked up. You got nothing to offer nobody, right? You can't offer nothing to your kids. Look at your other kids. Your other kids are fucked up. I got older kids. You know, and the 2 out of the 3 that are older, they're not that well off because of my environment they grew up in. They are a product of the environment I put them in. Mm-hmm. So that holds heavy on my soul. You know what I mean? It holds heavy on me. Oh, hey, buzz Harlee, loud.
Look over here.
Yep.
Look at that. Look at that failure.
Yeah. Look at you. You failed. You're a failure. All the bad shit my dad used to say or anybody had to say about me all the time was in there all the time.
Do you think that's Dad's voice?
Full on. I do think it is, you know, because he was the most prominent voice in my head at the time, you know. So because when we went to school, I was accepted in school because I had good grades. So the teachers love you when you get good grades, you know. They want to support you and be like, yay. They'll fucking clap for you then. But as soon as you don't get good grades, they don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got Dad's voice.
Oh, but yeah.
And then
Dad, Mom.
Who's over here? What's this voice saying?
Oh, that's a quiet voice. That's so like silent.
Quiet in the fight?
Oh, yeah, super quiet in the fight.
Tell me about that.
It's super quiet. It sounds like kind of like, come on, bud. You don't have to listen. You know? Like, you don't have to listen to that shit no more. You know, you're not in that space. You're not in that place. And all those things that you went through make you this man you are today. So I don't know why the fuck I'm going through this, but we better figure it out. And then it gets real quiet again, and then just piles of shit all the time.
Why is the voice quiet? Why do you think that voice is quiet and it's faintly coming in, then going away, then faintly coming in?
You know, I don't know. Because I wanted to listen to the negative shit because that's what's normal. That was my norm forever. You know what I mean? Yeah. Nobody had good shit to say. And anytime you say that you want to do a business, or anytime you have something good to say, or like you want to do, then everybody's not gonna. Since they don't have the balls to fucking do it, they're gonna talk shit. You know what I mean? Period. So then you're a crazy person if you have these dreams and these aspirations, and then they're gonna tell you can't do it. You can't do it. Nope, that ain't gonna happen for you. I wanted to start my own painting business when I was 19, 20 years old. I got told, no, you can't forever. And I was like, well, I guess I can't. Because you need capital and you need all this stuff. So for my whole life, even when I wanted to play football, my father was telling me when I was younger, I was like, I'm going to play professional football. I was 5 years old. I already had it planned out. He said, nope, can't. I said, why not? He said, because 1 in 1,000 people make it to the NFL. And I said, yeah, that's me. And then he said, nope, you ain't the right color. And I said, that's a stupid thing to say. And then he whacked me. Bam.
So his belief, his history, his story, he's bringing that to you.
Oh, yeah.
He's putting that on you.
Yep.
And then his story became your story
for
a long time.
Mm-hmm. Yep, because I wasn't supposed to be. Yeah, he's just, you work hard, that's it. You go get a job. Mm-hmm. That's what they said. Get a job, work hard, that's how you live. That's how you make it. And that's it. So that's what I believed. And so all this shit was coming at me, because I'm still trying to make my business, and I went back to college. Yeah. I graduated fucking college.
Congratulations. Tell us about that, dude.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I did. I went back to college. So, and then I graduated with honors at Front Range Community College. Tried to get in at CSU to the mechanical engineering program was my goal, because that's a sexy thing.
Super sexy.
I'm saying I would have been a mechanical engineer.
You had that button-up shirt.
I would have been like,
you had to tuck that thing away.
Yeah, I would have been sad as fuck sitting in an office somewhere in a hole in the wall dying, and it wouldn't have been me. So I'm glad it didn't work out. But what college taught me was to learn. I learned how to learn. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I learned my place, kind of, if you will. And I knew I was still super smart, blah, blah, blah. But I kind of felt like a failure because of that too, because I went in to be a mechanical engineer, found out how much they were going to make in a salary, and I said, well, I'm going to go do that in 1 year in my painting business, bet on it, because they gave me a 5-year plan. So I was already in school for 5 years because I didn't have a high school education. I got arrested out of high school. So because I got arrested out of high school, it took me 4 years to get 5 years to get a 4-year degree because I didn't have education. But I did it. Fucking graduated. Had a 3.8 GPA. Graduated with honors. Still working. I still worked full time. I was still a dad full time. You know what I mean? Yep. Got into CSU. And at first they didn't put me in the mechanical engineering program because they didn't have one of my grades. So I had to go in as a math major. So I had to fight to get back into the mechanical engineering program. Well, good thing I learned how to fight in my life. But at that point, I learned how to fight smart. Yeah. Because before, if we would have had a conversation, you were outsmarting me, I would have just punched you in the mouth because I didn't know how to respond to that. I didn't know how to sit and have a grown-up conversation, if you will. Or if I felt like somebody was smarter than me, then I would fucking just act crazy. I'd be like, shut up, bam. You ain't going to make me look stupid.
So it's a threat to you.
It's a threat
and
because...
that's how you dealt with the threat.
Yeah, because that was my environment when I grew up also. Because having straight A's in school was cool. But then when you get into the environment where you're smart, then the people that aren't so smart take that as a threat. Yeah. So I learned that that's a threat now because they taught me, oh, you're so smart, you think you're better than us? Then all of a sudden I'm in a fight because I got a fucking A on a math test. You know what I mean? Or I raise my hand. I'm like, they're like, what's 5 times 6? I'm like, bam, got it. Spit out the answer. And they're like, just see. They just look at you like, this motherfucker. And I live in the neighborhood with these kids. So when you come out to play, what do? Motherfucker, you made me look stupid in school. Then it's on. You just fight. For what? Because I'm smart? Because I like to be smart? So that's how I dealt with stuff. Couldn't have that conversation because I felt like, oh, they're outsmarting me. Pissed. Get pissed. Bam. Punch a motherfucker.
you know what I love? You know what I love about us is so we're wrapping up the podcast. We got about 10 minutes left.
Oh, damn.
I forgot to give you the half.
No, that's okay. I know you did.
We talked about this, right? I want to tell you when we're halfway through.
No, that's good. That's good.
We bounced all around our stories and your story. And we hit on so many things.
Right.
And I know there's got to be somebody watching this, somebody listening.
Oh,
to this
yeah.
right now. I know there is who is at the end of their rope.
Yeah.
They've got the 2 voices. They were catching the ass whoopings.
Yeah.
They were told they couldn't be anything. They're told they can't because it's never happened for somebody else, and that person's story is now becoming their story.
Yeah.
And there's a saying that your history doesn't have to become your destiny.
No, it doesn't.
You've literally taken, I don't think just your story, but the story of all of your past fathers, right? That's passed down to you.
Yeah.
And you're changing that. You're changing your family tree.
Fuck yeah.
So somebody that's listening to this who's in between those 2 voices, or maybe they just told their wife the same thing you did. I know what it feels like when somebody wants to kill themselves and then they're walking out and they're having that 8-hour conversation between those 2 voices. What do you want to tell them right now before we wrap it up?
Oh, man. I'm gonna tell them not to give up. You're more resilient than you fucking think, you know? And you're like one choice away from a great story, you know? And you're one choice away from saving somebody's life, I think. Because not only your own, but somebody else's. And then if they can see that resilience, and maybe they got kids, you know? And if they don't want their kids to end up that way, then they better find that something. They better find that something to keep moving, man. And I use that for my kids. That was my why, you know. I wanted to change that. And even if you don't have that, your life is worth more than dying right now, you know. Everybody deserves peace. Everybody deserves a better life. But you have to get the fuck out of the environment you're in order to get that, in order to receive that. And you can't be scared to be alone, you know? And loneliness is peaceful when you're in the wrong environment. And if you can't change your environment, it's going to be hard to change your mentality. You know, if you're trying to change your mentality and you're still in the same environment, it's going to be super hard. But if you're going to change your mentality and your environment, then it's going to be easier. I won't say it's going to be super easy because it's hard and it takes a long time. But I'll tell them not to fucking give up, man. We are resilient creatures. And you can develop new neural pathways in your brain. So they say fake it till you make it sometimes. I call it callous your brain and just practice to be the person you want to be, not who you are, you know? So you got to picture that and use that all the time. And then one day you're going to get there and you're going to be like, holy shit, I made it. And then you're going to want to turn around and grab somebody and take them with you. You know, and that's it. And pour into other people. Pour whatever you know, teach it to other people, pour into other people, and learn how to be grateful for whatever. Because when you're grateful, that is a cure for depression. That is a cure for fucking anxiety. That is a cure for sadness. That's a cure for fucking being angry. Because you're not talking about what you don't have. You're just grateful for what you do have. I'm grateful for this fucking podcast. You know what I mean? I really am. We did
it today.
Yes.
So before we wrap up,
yes,
we open every podcast with how our stories came together.
Yeah.
Just two knucklehead painters, right?
Yeah.
And this guy didn't know
not
how to
painter
paint.
for you. Business.
Yeah, I don't know
painter.
what I am. Yep, business painter. Now painter, business.
Now painting. Now business.
Speaking of painting, so when you
Yes.
came in here, we do something really cool
Yeah.
in the podcast studio. So
Okay.
to keep true to our painting roots, even though
Yes.
I don't know how to do it, and
That's
I don't
okay.
care, and
I'll
I
keep
hate
true to
it,
my roots.
is you grabbed your favorite color
Yes,
off
sir.
the wall. And we have this wall outside the studio where everybody that visits this building, they have an opportunity to write that sentence, statement, whatever they want to leave with the world. So we're
Right.
going to close this episode with you sharing what you wrote down on that card. So when you leave this earth, what do you want to be remembered for? What did you write on that card that you want to tell everybody?
This is what I wrote on the card. First of all, it's green. It's like money. It's like life. Everybody took the blue ones. So I like the color green. But here's what I wrote. I said, out of the darkest corners of my past, I have risen, and I broke the chains of my mental prison. I did not accept what I was given, and I refused to give in. So a better life my children can live in.
That's a wrap. I would be extremely grateful if you would go to mattshoup.com and click on the free tools and download those. On my website, you'll find that I've got some things for you wherever you are on your journey in life, leadership, and business. Start with those free tools. Maybe next, check out a couple of my books, my video coaching series, or maybe consider even coming to spend a week with me in Spain on one of my leadership adventures.